technology was safe.
What do you expect us to find down there?
She's remarkable.
We aren't going to pretend that this isn't a risky expedition.
There's something on
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
From the moment whispers began surrounding the mysterious project known as Gods of Deep, audiences have been drawn toward the eerie sense of scale and myth that the title alone suggests. The film has gained attention because it promises something beyond the familiar boundaries of underwater thrillers, hinting at a world where ancient forces live beneath crushing depths, waiting for the moment humanity makes the mistake of waking them. The excitement continues to grow as people speculate about the tone, the lore, and the emotional journey the story will offer. What makes this film stand out is not just the fear of what lurks beneath the ocean, but the ambition to blend mythology, science, and psychological survival into one massive cinematic experience that pushes characters into the darkest corners of the unknown. The central story revolves around an elite group of deep-sea specialists tasked with investigating a strange seismic pattern detected near one of the ocean's deepest trenches. At first, it appears to be just another geological anomaly, but as the readings grow more intense and more erratic, scientists begin to suspect that what they are observing is not natural at all. A private research corporation steps in, assembling a team of engineers, divers, biologists, and former naval operatives to descend deeper than any human crew has willingly gone before. The pressure, the temperature, and the surrounding silence create an unsettling atmosphere long before the characters reach the heart of their mission. With every meter they descend, the sense of humanity's fragility becomes clearer, as if the ocean itself is warning them to turn back before crossing a boundary that was never meant to be touched. Once the crew reaches the trench, the film shifts into a more intense and suspense-driven rhythm. Strange bioluminescent patterns begin to appear on the walls of the canyon, forming symbols that resemble ancient drawings more than anything created by nature. The discovery sparks a clash among the team. Some believe they have stumbled upon evidence of an extinct deep ocean civilization or a species that evolved in isolation for millions of years, while others are convinced these markings signal a dormant creature of unimaginable scale. The tension escalates as their diving vessel begins experiencing unexplained malfunctions that seem too coordinated to be accidents. The film builds the fear slowly, reminding the audience that in the deepest corners of the ocean, humans are intruders, and something old enough to be considered godlike may be watching. As the story unfolds, one character emerges as the emotional anchor of the film, a marine biologist who has spent her life studying the legends of ancient sea deities and cultures that believe the ocean was alive with consciousness. She recognizes fragments of the symbols they find, matching them to stories she grew up reading about beings that shaped the tides, controlled storms, and demanded respect from early civilizations. Her perspective clashes with the rest of the team's scientific training, creating a philosophical divide between myth and reality. Yet the deeper they go, the more the environment seems to respond to her presence, almost as if the ocean acknowledges those who respect its power and punishes those who seek to exploit it. Her emotional journey becomes the backbone of the narrative, grounding the film's scale with vulnerability and purpose. Tension grows when the crew detects massive, rhythmic pulses echoing through the trench vibrations that mimic a heartbeat. These pulses disrupt their equipment and trigger hallucinations among several members. The film begins blending psychological horror with physical threat, showing how isolation, pressure, and fear drag each character into their own mental abyss. Some hear whispers through their helmets. Others see shapes moving in the darkness that vanish the moment they turn. The movie plays with the idea that the ocean can read emotions, feeding off fear and projecting visions meant to weaken the intruders. As paranoia spreads, arguments erupt, trust breaks, and survival becomes dependent, not just on avoiding external dangers but on overcoming inner collapse. The midpoint of the film explodes into chaos when the trench walls begin shifting, revealing that the symbols they thought were carved into stone are actually part of a massive, dormant creature. The entire trench is not simply a geological formation, it is the resting place of an ancient being older than recorded history. The revelation shocks the team, forcing them to confront the reality that they have awakened something that was never meant to be disturbed. Their submersible becomes trapped as the creature stirs, unleashing a chain of undersea shockwaves that threaten global consequences. The survival stakes rise dramatically as the characters must find a way to escape the trench while the creature's presence transforms the ocean into a battlefield between nature and human intrusion. As the characters attempt to regain control of their failing vessel, the creature's abilities begin to reshape the environment around them. Currents become violent. Light bends unnaturally. The pressure increases beyond measurable levels. Through these distortions, they catch glimpses of the creature's massive form and entity with eyes that glow like submerged stars and movements so slow and ancient that they defy the logic of living organisms. The creature is neither villain nor monster. It is a force of nature, awakened from a long slumber and reacting out of instinctive defense. The film uses this reveal to explore themes of respect, humility, and the danger of treating the natural world as something to be conquered instead of understood. One of the most gripping sections comes when the remaining crew members discover an ancient underwater temple carved into the ocean floor. Inside, they find murals depicting humans who once worshipped the creature as a god, offering gifts in exchange for calm seas and fertile oceans. These civilizations vanished without explanation, leaving only cryptic warnings etched into the stone. The film suggests that the creature is not inherently destructive but reacts to disturbances, punishing civilizations that grow too arrogant in their attempt to harness the deep. The biologist deciphers the warnings, realizing that the only path to survival is to restore balance rather than fight the creature. The final act becomes a race against time as the team attempts to communicate with, or at least appease, the creature before it rises fully and triggers catastrophic oceanic shifts. Their equipment is nearly destroyed, oxygen levels drop, and the crushing pressure becomes unbearable. Yet hope emerges when the biologist attempts a ritual she believes mirrors the ancient civilization's method of signaling peace. The moment creates one of the film's most breathtaking visuals as the creature pauses, noticing her presence. The glowing patterns across its body shift, forming a luminous display that mirrors the symbols found earlier. For a brief moment, the film captures the idea that understanding, not domination, is humanity's best hope of surviving forces beyond comprehension. However, the relationship between humans and ancient power cannot exist without sacrifice. The climax forces the characters into a devastating choice: allow the creature to reclaim and close the trench, sealing away the deep forever, or escape while risking the creature's wrath. The decision comes with emotional weight, loss, and the acceptance that not all discoveries are meant to be shared with the world. This moral conflict elevates the film beyond simple survival, transforming it into a dramatic statement about the responsibility that comes with knowledge and the humility required when confronting forces older and wiser than humanity. The ending of the film resonates because it refuses to offer a simple resolution. Some characters survive, forever changed by what they witnessed. Others are lost to the depths, becoming part of the ocean's eternal silence. The creature returns to its slumber, not defeated but respected, leaving behind a renewed sense of awe for the mysteries that exist beneath the surface. The survivors return home not as heroes ready to reveal their experience, but as guardians of a secret too powerful and dangerous for public knowledge. Their silence becomes the final act of protection for both humanity and the ancient being below. In the aftermath, the film lingers on themes of human curiosity, the fragility of existence, and the vastness of the unknown. It suggests that the ocean is not empty but alive with intelligence, history, and power. The discovery of the creature known by ancient civilizations as a god of the deep becomes a reminder that humanity's advancements do not grant dominion over everything. Some mysteries remain beyond reach because they are meant to preserve balance, not to be conquered or exploited. The closing scenes leave audiences with a haunting sense of wonder, urging them to rethink their relationship with the natural world and the unseen forces that may exist just beyond the limits of human perception. the story of Gods of Deep stands as a bold attempt to blend mythology with science, psychological tension with environmental themes, and spectacle with emotional depth. It embraces the fear of the unknown while celebrating the beauty and terror of the ocean. The film's atmosphere, its characters' transformation, and its respect for ancient forces make it a powerful addition to stories that challenge humanity's understanding of its place in the world. Even after the credits fade, the presence of the creature remains in the audience's imagination, reminding everyone that some gods do not live in the sky, they sleep beneath the deep, waiting for the day the world disturbs them once again.